Hey everyone, Allie Kids here, Emerald Ambassador and your team leader. I am very excited to get our Steps to Silver kicked off with day number 1. And today is all about getting organized before we begin. So we're going to talk about developing systems that work for you to make sure that you can be the most productive during your work times with Plexus. We don't want to have people's names written on a bunch of post-it notes and notebooks and slips of paper here and there and forgetting about people and letting them fall through the cracks. So the first thing I want you to do, if you haven't done already, is make your list of 64. Now, Plexus came out with a sheet that you can fill out that had categories of people to think about when you're putting them on your connections list to reach out about Plexus. It's people that need the business, people that need the products, people that need both, all of Plexus, and a few people that you really have, a lot of influence with, who they trust you, and maybe your easiest people to reach out to. So that is your list of 64, and if you don't have that sheet, I'm going to be posting that link to that so you can download it in our assignment today. So, excuse me. So, first of all, make that list, fill that whole thing out. And if there's a way for you to, once you fill that out on paper, to write all those names and keep them electronically as well, so you can have them on all your devices in the different categories, that would be fabulous to do as well. Now, I keep my list of 64, and then I also, once I've contacted people about Plexus or people have contacted me about Plexus electronically, I have a list of people who are interested. So they've come back to me and said, I'm interested in this, or yeah, give me more info, or whatever. We have a bounce back conversation going on. I have those people. I follow up with them very regularly, both about personal things, non-Plexus things, and I'll send them any deals, or if I read a testimony that's something they're dealing with, or a Diamond documentary that reminds me of them, something like that. I check in with them or ask them how they're feeling about getting started with Plexus, if they've had time to review any info that I've sent their way, things like that. So those are people I follow up with very regularly. Now, I also have a list of people who did not respond, so I have a non-responders list. These are people that I try to really interact with a lot on social media and make sure that I'm engaging with them in their posts, and I also check in with them about personal things, ask them about their personal life, just to get more of a conversation going if my first contact about Plexus maybe wasn't received well or wasn't at a great time for them, and maybe just trying to drum up some other conversation. So those are my non-responders. And then I have the people that just said no. I have a list of no's. And I always note why they said no, what their objection was. And I try to address that with later follow-ups. And I try to make sure that not everything's about Plexus with them all the time, because clearly they told me not right now, or no, I'm just not interested. And sometimes I ask them why. Do you have a certain thing holding you back? Is it a money issue? Do you have something going on in your life? Do you already take supplements? I kind of just ask like what might be holding them back from hearing more information, because I like to know where people's minds are at, what their questions might be, so I can inform people better in the future. So I, again, make sure to really interact with these people on social media and keep them on my list, because I have had lots of no's come back and try Plexus, and a lot of them are on this team I've sponsored as ambassadors, and they've told me no repeatedly. But maybe it was because they were nervous to take something while pregnant, or they wanted to wait till they had more money coming in. They were going back to work after having a baby, or they were about to get married, or they were moving, or they just had a lot going on in their life and starting a new job, things like that. And so I wait, and I will follow up with them at a later date, and I'll make sure it works for them. So a system that I use to handle my lists and my follow-ups, again, I keep my lists electronically, but my follow-up system, now you can have a paper system or you can have an electronic system. I use my Plexus planner. I used a planner, an Erin Condren planner last year, and that was wonderful too. But the way I use this is I write people's names that I'm going to follow up with on certain days. So I'll have people's names listed on certain days, and when I follow up with them, I will cross their name out. And then when I'm done with my whole day, I'll make a mark through it, so I know I followed up with those people. And once I talk to those people, I will rewrite their name on a later date, when the date I want to check back in with them. So every day when I get down to work my business, I have a list of people I want to follow up with. Now, once I've made that list of 64 we were talking about, a lot of times I will add those names of people that I want to reach out to, a few names to every single day of my planner. And you can do this with an electronic system if you want, or a paper system. But so I know that when I get down to work, I have a few reach outs of new people I wanted to remember to reach out to on that day. And then I have some follow-ups of people who might have been interested or that asked me about Plexus, or people I just want to do a friendly check-in that maybe they said no, or they didn't respond to me or whatever. I'll write their name on a later date. So I know when I get to that day, I have a list of people that I can reach out to make sure I prioritize that activity first. So whatever your system is, just develop one so you don't have notes and sheets everywhere. I know that I have in the Notes app on both my computer and my phone that I have a folder in there that has my list of 64, my interested list, my non-responders, and my no's. So I have all my list of people right there, and then I have my paper planner, and that's it. I know everything is in those two places. And I also, anybody that I might be going back and forth with, sometimes if they take a long time to respond or they say, oh, I always forget to check my Facebook Messenger or whatever, sometimes I'll ask them, is there a better way I can contact you? Like maybe I could email you some information, or do you like being texted? Maybe I'll send you a text message or whatever. And I note the best way to get a hold of them, because sometimes people just want to be gotten a hold of in different ways and they don't check one method more than the other. So anyway, you want to know what to do on the days when you get to that day. So you want to have all those names laid out. But I know that being organized really helps us be the most productive, but again, we need to make the time to work in addition to having that organization. If we can be as organized as we want, but if we never make that time to sit down and work our Plexus business, it's not going to happen. So I just want to give you a newsflash. Everyone is busy. We all have lives. We all have jobs. We all have kids. We all have, whatever. Everybody's got something that might feel like it's keeping them busy and keeping them from working their Plexus business as much as possible. But the answer to that is really time blocking your day and segmenting it out so you can view this as work time, this as family time, this as Plexus time, and those increments can be as small as 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you want them to be. Just make those, plan out your day so you know that when this time comes after the kids are in bed at 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to work from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I'm not going to watch TV. I'm going to work during that time, or whatever that is for you. Maybe it's your lunch break at work. Maybe it's during your kids' naps during the day, or maybe it's early in the morning. Maybe you're an early riser and you have a spare 30 minutes in the morning that you can do that. Think about places you can, sacrifice a little bit or move some things around so that you can put the work in, because it is so worth it. And so when you do get that time and you segment that time out and you do it every single day, I want you to prioritize that time. So when you get that time, first you want to be answering anybody's questions that are potentials or new customers or ambassadors that you've sponsored. If they have any questions, they are our VIPs. We want to get back to them as soon as we can, as quickly as we can, as thoroughly as we can. So that's what you're going to do first. Second, you're going to do your own income-producing activities. These are IPAs, if you haven't heard that term before. Do your reach-outs, do your follow-ups, do those people that I was talking about in my planner. Those are the kinds of people you're doing after you've answered questions from anyone that's asked you anything that's a potential or a new customer ambassador. Past that, if you have sponsored some ambassadors who've been with you for a while and they're asking you questions, maybe where to find things in the back office, or things about products or whatever, things that can kind of wait, nothing that's super urgent, those can come third priority after that. And last priority, if you happen to have any spare time, that's when you're scrolling Facebook and scrolling YouTube lives. So try not to hop on and start scrolling and get lost in that and waste time, because that will suck up all your time, and before you knew it, you didn't get any work done. So, and especially before you do that, if you're doing any training activities like this one right here, make sure you're doing those, fitting those into your IPA time slot as well. You're making sure you're watching training videos and getting yourself educated on the products and business tips and all of the things like that. Or if you have any events going on like this one, like Steps to Silver, or any other IPA challenges or fun challenges like that. Add those into your little IPA piece, because training is a part of income producing activities, because it's making you better at your job. So make sure you fit those in before you start dilly-dallying and wasting time on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all of that. So in conclusion, I want you to create systems that work for you, whether they're on paper or electronic. I use a hybrid of both, and really make the time in your day to work Plexus every single day. And when you get that time, prioritize it, because your time can be wasted so quickly. But I want your time to be spent doing valuable things that will get your business on the move. So make sure you guys set up some systems and get your day figured out to where you can work Plexus every single day. Thanks, guys.